If you've got a toddler, you've probably been hit in the face. Today, we're going to be talking about what to do about toddlers hitting. I'm Jill, and I'm the Mentor Mom. I'm going to share my favorite strategies to help get rid of all of that nasty, terrible to hitting. So let's get to it. Hitting is just a part of the territory when you have a toddler. Now, I will say this, not all toddlers go through the hitting phase, but I would say that those who don't are the minority. Most toddlers go through some sort of hitting phase. And let's talk about why that is. Sometimes that hitting is because they're frustrated, they're angry, and toddlers typically don't have a huge repertoire of words to be able to express all of those big emotions that are going on. Sometimes they're also doing the hitting because they're just doing some experimentation. So today I want to talk about some of the do's and definitely the don'ts when it comes to dealing with hitting. So let's do a quick discussion of the developmental piece of hitting with toddlers. So if your toddler is hitting randomly, like you pick them up and you're hanging on to them, you're having a great little conversation and interaction, all of a sudden they go whack right to your face, that's more of an exploratory. They're looking to see what happens if I do this, right? And so we're going to talk momentarily about what to do, but I want you to understand that that's not necessarily an intention of malice. I'd read somewhere that malice doesn't really even start to develop for kids until they're about 2 years old. They're not doing it because they want to hurt us or be mean to us. They don't really understand the impact of that when they're doing that. Now, if your toddler is really angry and frustrated and they're hitting it, obviously it's just a part of how they're trying to express these big emotions. So whether it's this exploratory, I wonder what'll happen kind of thing that they're doing the hitting for, or if it's the result of big emotions, either way, we want to give some type of response to that to help them learn how to diminish and develop the emotional regulation during those moments, and also how to make better choices about how they interact with people. So let's start by talking about what we don't want to do. And I'm going to tell you, as somebody who has worked with toddlers for almost 25 years, what we don't want to do is we don't want to hit in response to their hit. I mean, ultimately our goal, right, is to teach our children that hitting is unacceptable, right? We don't want them hitting friends at school. We don't want them hitting kids later on or as an adult. But what message are we sending when we hit them back, right? That they don't go together. Those two things don't go together. What we always, as parents, want to be modeling is what we want from our children down the road. So if you want your child to not hit, then we have to model other ways to resolve conflict or frustration that don't include hitting. Okay? Now, I know I'm probably going to get some hate from people on that one. You do you. I'm just telling you, as a social worker who focuses on social emotional development, growth, and health in young children, I'm going to tell you that in my experience, hitting in response to hitting doesn't make sense. It doesn't help them learn, and it doesn't help them to feel safe. And that, we know from brain research, is one of the most important things that we can do for our children to help them reach the maximum potential and to enhance their learning, is to make sure that they always feel safe. Okay, so now let's move on to what you can do when your child hits. So I like to use a little 5-step process, okay? And step 1 is when your child hits you is to make a sad face. Step 2 is to put them down immediately. Set them right down. Step 3 is to walk away for 1 to 2 minutes. Step 4 is to re-engage with them in a very positive way, like, hey, there's my sweet little girl, I love you so much, and redirect and try to move on to something else. Step 5 is for when they do it again, which many toddlers are going to go ahead the minute you pick them up, even after engaging in a positive way, and they're going to hit you again. What you need to do then is rinse and repeat. Same process. Sad face, put them down, walk away. All of that. So rinse and repeat as many times as you need to. So what's not a part of this process? Talking. No talking during the process except for the step where you're re-engaging with your child. And then the communication needs to be positive, happy, okay? The reason we're not going to do a lot of talking during this process is because toddlers learn more from our actions than our words, okay? So that's why we're making the sad face, helping them to tune in to emotional responses from people when they do things like that, and what people do when they've been hit or hurt. They move away from that person and don't want to be around them for a little bit. Now, I'm talking just a short period of time before you go back and re-engage with your child. I'm not talking about a timeout or any of that. It's just you modeling for them, when you hit me, I have to step away from you. And the reason I really like this particular strategy in response to this behavior is because we're also modeling for them self-care, right? Like, I don't interact with kids who are hitting me. We're not saying those words, but our actions are demonstrating that. I don't interact with kids who are hitting me. I move away from them. Our children watch that in us, right? And so when they're around a peer in school who maybe hits them, that little neural pathway that you've built from modeling how you take care of yourself, right, is going to kick in for them. I don't think I should be hanging around somebody that hits me, right? I've learned that from my mom and dad, that's something I should walk away from. So you're also helping model a coping strategy for them. I shouldn't hang around people that are hitting me. I need to disengage with people that are hitting me. So you're actually teaching them a coping skill that they can carry with them into adulthood. I know that this can be a tricky stage, especially with that aggression that we see from our little ones, but don't take it personally. They're not doing it because they want to hurt you, okay? This is an opportunity for you to teach them a better way. Okay, that's it. That is my 5-step strategy for dealing with toddlers hitting. If you're struggling with the toddler years and those big behaviors and tantrums, make sure that you download my Tantrum Tamer tip sheet. The link is down below, and I share my favorite strategies to avoid power struggles with young children. Okay, that's it. Until next time, I'll see you then.